of the valedictory session of this program. Let us begin the event with a silent prayer. Thank you, everyone. This program, Guruvachan, was inaugurated on the 4th of this month by the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Calicut, Professor Dr. M.K. Jairaj, on the Zoom platform on the 4th of October. The inaugural session was honored by the presence of other dignitaries, including Sri Santosh Aryakandi, Devasam Secretary of SNDP Yogam, Dr. K.P. Vinod Kumar, Associate Professor and Member of Syndicate of the University of Calicut, and Dr. Shafiq V, Research Officer at Kerala State Higher Education Council, and other eminent personalities. As a part of this international webinar series, we had conducted 12 technical sessions, and each session was unique, awe-inspiring, and thought-provoking. Each and every session was made remarkable with the presence of eminent national and international scholars from various parts of the globe, including the Sultanate of Oman, Leiden University of Netherlands, United States of America, Royal University of Bhutan, University of Beirut, Germany. Apart from these international figures, we also had speakers from across the nation. Now, I'm extremely privileged to announce the commencement of the valedictory session of this program. Let me invite Mr. A.M. Abdul Salam, Associate Professor of the Department of History and the coordinator of this program, to make the welcome address. Over to you, Mr. A.M. Abdul Salam.
Thank you, Vidya. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, audible.
Good evening to all. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajan Varghese, Member Secretary of Kerala State Higher Education Council. Respected Principal Dr. C.P. Sujesh, PTA Vice President K. Ramesan, PTA Secretary and Staff Representative Chandini PM, V.S. Anita, and all the heads of the departments, Agrima Rajiv, the student representative, my colleagues, the non-teaching staff, teachers from other colleges, my dear students, and all other participants. R. Shankar Memorial SNDP Yogam College, Koilandi, under the corporate management of SNDP Yogam Colleges, Kollam, Kerala, is accredited by NAC with B++ grade. Is a popular educational institution under the University of Calicut. In accordance with the mission of the institution, the college continues to motivate students through quality education for the last 25 years to enhance and to create a better understanding of the various levels of academic developments. The college staff council meeting held on 30th August 2021 decided to organize a multidisciplinary international webinar series with the participation of all 11 departments of the college in the month of October under the title Guruvachan. The IQAC is in charge of the webinar series and an organizing committee is also formed. The proposal is sent to Kerala State Higher Education Council and the council approved the project and offered full academic support to the program. We are highly thankful to Kerala State Higher Education Council and especially the member secretary, Dr. Rajan Varghese, and research officer Shafiq and the other dignitaries for the assistance and support to our webinar series. Guruvachan webinar series inaugurated by Dr. M.K. Jairaj, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Calicut on 4th of this month, followed 12 technical sessions with multidisciplinary character. I hope this multidisciplinary webinar series opened up new vistas of knowledge and understanding with the presentation and participation of national and international academic scholars from different universities and institutions. The completion of the webinar series without any deviation from the scheduled program brochure indicates its success. Again, the title Guruvachan, the multidisciplinary nature of the webinar, the young dynamic resource persons, and the relevance of the topics presented in the webinar is also attracted by many participants and those who noticed the program. The renowned scholars and academicians like Dr. Mahmoud Kuria from Leiden University, Netherlands, Dr. Tindula Kotakat from University of Beirut, Germany, Mr. Anthony John from USA, Dr. OK Sandosh from Madras University, Dr. Ramnath Kasturi from University of Technology and Applied Science, Salalah, Oman, Dr. S. Chitra from Royal University of Bhutan, Dr. Ramakant Roy from Uttar Pradesh, Dr. KVS Nambudiri from Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Dr. Selvan from Chennai, Dr. Nibuar Krishna from Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, Niaz Ahmad Mahmood from Oman, and Uma Sankar Pandey from Kolkata presented different topics in the webinar. The wealth and variety of the presentation is astonishing, and in almost all the presentations, the participants actively interacted with the resource persons and clarified their doubts. As a whole, the webinar series were a nice and novel experience both to the organizers and to the participants. The help from Kerala State Higher Education Council is also wonderful, and many resource persons pleased with our institution and informed their willingness to visit the college. Faculty members from various colleges, research scholars, postgraduate students, and the students, staff of our college are actively participated in the webinar. Today, in this valedictory session of Guruvachan, we have a very special guest, Dr. Rajan Varghese. Dr. Rajan Varghese is a renowned scholar, academician, and administrator, and he was the former professor of economics at Aliva Union Christian College and the former pro-vice chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi University. Now he is the member secretary of Kerala State Higher Education Council, and his contributions to higher education department is immense and great. It is my privilege to welcome Dr. Rajan Varghese to inaugurate the valedictory session of the Guruvachan Multidisciplinary International Webinar Series. Welcome, sir. Next, I welcome Dr. C.P. Sujesh, Principal, who will deliver the presidential address. And Dr. Sujesh is the chief architect and motivating force behind Guruvachan webinar series. His support and help is always with us for the effective coordination of the webinar series. I am very happy to welcome Dr. C.P. Sujesh to chair the session and deliver the presidential address. Next, I welcome Sri Rameshan, the Vice President of PTA, and Srimati Chandini, PM, the representative and the PTA Secretary, and Agrima Rajiv, the student representative, to felicitate the function. Next, I welcome Srimati Anida VS to evaluate the series as a whole, and Dr. Shaji Maram Vittal, the IQAC coordinator, to propose vote of thanks. With immense pleasure, I welcome all the heads of the departments, teachers and non-teaching staff, teachers from other colleges, and my dear students and all other participants. Last but not the least, I welcome all the members of the organizing committee and the technical wing who helped me to become this webinar series a grand success. Welcome to all. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. A.M. Abdul Salam, for your warm welcome note. Sir, you have truly taken all the necessary steps to conduct this program in a befitting manner. Thank you, sir. Now it's time for the presidential address by our principal, Dr. C.P. Sujesh. He is the one behind the materialization of this very significant event. He has given us all the material and moral support to make this project a reality. Sir, I request you to deliver the presidential address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vidya. Good evening to all. Honorable Member Secretary of Kerala State Higher Education Council and former PVC of MG University, Dr. Rajan Varghese, sir. Respected IQAC Coordinator, Dr. Shaji Maramvetil, Coordinator of this webinar series, AM Abdul Salam, then Rameshan, Chandni PM, Anita VS, and all the academicians, research scholars, and others who are present here, and my dear students and colleagues. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Rajan Varghese, sir, for being a part of Guruvachan, a multidisciplinary international webinar series organized by the IQAC of our college. This is in association with the Kerala State Higher Education Council. And so, moreover, we are much obliged to you, sir, for giving us a platform of academic collaboration to this webinar series. Our IQAC has been framing numerous innovative programs of academic and non-academic nature to improve the quality of education as envisaged by our UGC. Guruvachan, a multidisciplinary webinar series, is one of the academic programs organized by IQAC of such nature. And it was formally inaugurated by our Vice Chancellor, the Vice Chancellor of University of Calicut, Dr. M.K. Jerasa, on 4th October 2021. And the webinar then passed through 12 technical sessions and is now nearing its closing ceremony. The webinar series has received a great deal of acclaim, both nationally and internationally. And this recognition is due to the fact that it is conducted in a multidisciplinary manner by combining all the 12 departments functioning in the college. It is pertinent to note that each department has paid special attention to the selection of contemporary subjects and to the selection of eminent personalities, including those from foreign universities, for presentation of divergent topics. Of this, 6 international academic experts from USA, Germany, UAE, Netherlands, and Bhutan have been selected as a resource persons, added very much to its success. As all of you know, we have been experiencing radical and tremendous changes in education sector in general and higher education sector in particular. So many things are there, and our government, state government, is moving ahead with a number of innovative initiatives with the objective of radically reforming the higher education sector. It is also important to note that 3 reforms or committees have been appointed to nurture the higher education sector. Of course, there is no doubt that this will bring about radical changes in the field of higher education. Similarly, Kerala State Higher Education Council is also carrying out a number of activities under their leadership. And the introduction of many new generation courses in the universities and colleges of Kerala is a matter of great hope in this context. And definitely, our girls will go with the latest information in the higher education sector. And with the time constraints, I don't like to prolong my speech. Then our college is a small college with a short span of 26 years of experience, offered only 8 courses. And in the last year, the college was able to achieve B++ recognition. And I bring to your notice that we are ready to assume different kinds of programs on the part of the government, then UGC, then Higher Education Council, etc. And all the cooperation are on the part of our college that is also assured, sir. And I request the Higher Education Council to assist us in assuming different initiatives developed by them for the enrichment of higher education sector. And we also assure all kinds of help to you, sir, because of the time constraints, or our guest is busy with some other hospital engagement and official engagements. I don't like to prolong my speech. And with these words, I conclude my presidential speech. And I request all of you to participate actively in the evaluation session also, which will be forming part of this inaugural session. And now I modestly welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, and member secretary of Higher Education Council and former Pro Vice Chancellor of MG University, Dr. Rajan Varghese, to inaugurate this valedictory function of the webinar series. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. C.P. Sujesh, for your gracious words. As rightly hinted by you, indeed, all the topics discussed here were contemporarily relevant. Sir, we are extremely glad to take up more such projects under your guidance. Thank you. Let us now move on to the most awaited moment, the inauguration of this valedictory session. For this, we are honored by the presence of Dr. Rajan Varghese, Honorable Member Secretary of Kerala State Higher Education Council and the former Pro Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi University. He is a distinguished personality and a brilliant scholar who has contributed much in the academic and administrative circle. Sir, we're extremely pleased to have you with us today, and we thank you so much for accepting our invitation. We long to listen to your words, sir. Over to you.
Sir, make your microphone on, sir. Microphone and video. Make it on, sir. Now audio is okay, sir. Video also. Jeju, make it on.
He can able to open.
Sir, Varghese, sir. Am I audible, sir? Can you hear me, sir? Sir?
Hello.
Okay. Now your audio is okay, sir.
Okay.
You have to switch on your.
Okay.
Now both.
Okay. I'm traveling. There is some difficulty. I will conclude very shortly.
Okay. Doesn't matter, sir. Okay.
Okay. In fact, I am very much privileged to associate with the activities of Sri Shankar Memorial SNDP Yogam Arts and Science College, Koilandi, which has emerged as a major seat of learning in this part of our state. And it's also a great thing that you have conducted a series of international lectures or webinar on multidisciplinary topics of current relevance from 4th to 31st December 2021. And the Higher Education Council is very much privileged to associate academically with these activities. As you have noted, said the entire world is actually undergoing a tremendous transformation as education is concerned, especially in this. We are very much fortunate to have revived the higher education sector in our country, and the success rate is very high in the school education. But at the higher education level, our experience was mixed because it varied from university to university different. So we tried to revive our academic activities through the online mode, and the council was able to train large number of teachers for their online activities. And we have also uploaded large number of educational materials, especially related to UG and PG in our website. Actually, we started the creation of a repository of digital learning resources in the council website. And along with that, we started a massive program of digital enablement of our higher education institutions under the Let's Go Digital program of the state government. We are actually collaborating with the Kerala Digital University in this regard. And we have trained by this time 3,500 teachers with regard to their online education, or what we now refer to as the learning management system, Moodle learning management system. And 35 colleges, they have completed the entire training program for their staff. And from the next month onwards, they will be moving to the digital mode. And the council and the digital university will be providing all the data facilities in the state data center and in the digital university at Thiruvananthapuram. So this is a period of transformation. And as teachers, we have to reinvent ourselves. Then only we can remain in this profession meaningfully. You may have smart classroom in your university or college. What we require today is smart teachers. We have to get our teachers retained. And there is great enthusiasm among the leaders of our institution, the management, and the entire faculty in the state. They are cooperating in a big way in the development of the digital platform and the Moodle customization of Moodle LMS in their institution. Similarly, we have taken up other initiatives. We are established a state level assessment and accreditation center. This is similar to the national level accreditation center, NAC. We have developed certain state-specific criteria for evaluating our institutions. And we started the process, and the first college that got the accreditation from the SAC is the Bishop Moore College, Mavelikara. And large number of other colleges are going to get themselves accredited in the state level accreditation. And state level accreditation is actually a process by which we prepare the institutions to go in for national level accreditation. And the state government has also put certain conditions for sanctioning new programs in our colleges. It will be based on the level of accreditation. And as you know, the central government has already linked accreditation and funding. So in the coming years, all institutions, they have to make themselves visible through their accreditation process. Because when you have massification of higher education taking place in a big way, quality assurance is an important factor. And the clientele or the parents, the public, they will take into account the level of accreditation of our institution. Then only they will send their children to a particular institution. So in the state of Kerala, out of the 1,500 colleges and the 16 universities, we have only less than 20% of them accredited at one level or another. So there is need for a work on the part of the colleges to go in for accreditation. It's not only for the state level accreditation, it will be a process by which you get the experience, you develop the readiness to go in for national level accreditation. So accreditation is going to stay, whether you like it or not. Accreditation is going to be a major feature of the development of higher education in the state of Kerala also. And the council is taking and we have conducted, and based on this, we will be developing what is called the Kerala Institutional Ranking Framework. Similar to the National Institutional Ranking Framework, NIRF, Kerala will have its own institutional ranking framework, which will also reflect the academic and other accomplishments of different institutions. So in the next year onwards, similar to the NIRF, we will have our own system of ranking, which will be referred to as the Kerala Institutional Ranking Framework. So for that purpose, we started in the first instance, the Kerala, All Kerala Higher Education Survey. And we find it difficult to get data from several institutions. And the data received from the higher education survey will be utilized for ranking of institutions. And this will be a major initiative. And the state government has assigned this role to the Kerala State Higher Education Council. So we have developed a dedicated portal for developing this Kerala institutional ranking framework and the state level survey. Similar to that, we have also developed several other new features which can enhance the quality of teaching, learning, and research in our state. Of late, the government has announced its intentions to provide 500 Navagarla's postdoctoral fellowship. It is already announced by the government of Kerala. It's called the Chief Minister's Navagarla Postdoctoral Fellowships. We have identified nearly 5-6 areas with a view to develop the capability of our youth and also to contribute to the Rebuild Kerala project. So this will be a great stimulus for academic activities, especially for the youngsters who are participating in various types of research activities. The details are also available on the website of the council. These are some of the initiatives. I have a lot of other points to make at this point, but I am traveling. I am not in a position to continue my remarks in this regard. I thank the organizers of the college because SNDP College Koilandi has a great history. It was one of the colleges which joined the cluster college scheme way back in 2012. So the college has the right credentials. It has the right
Hello, sir.
Kerala State Higher Education Council is very much privileged to associate with the college, and we solicit the cooperation of the entire faculty of the college, and we are also ready to provide all type of academic assistance, help to the college in all their endeavors. With these words, I conclude. I thank the principal for giving me this opportunity at this point of time. With these words, I once again thank all the organizers of this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I am traveling, so I am logging out.
Okay, we can see next time, sir.
Able to continue in this.
Okay, we are much obliged to you, sir. Even within a tight schedule, you join us. That is.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for those highly.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those highly inspirational words of encouragement and appreciation. Your talk has given us the energy to move ahead with all academic projects. Sir, you have rightly mentioned the need for smart teachers in the smart era of digitalization. Yes, this indeed is the need of the hour, along with the need of more research contributions. Thank you, sir, for giving us a gist of all the novel initiatives taken up by the Kerala State Higher Education Council. Thank you so much for providing us with the support of the council in our academic endeavor. And we look forward to associate with you again. Thank you once again. Now, let us move on to the felicitations. For this, we are glad to have with us Sri Ramesh K, the Vice President of our PTA. He is an extremely supportive person who takes great initiative in participating and contributing to the various programs conducted by the college. Sir, I request you to felicitate this program.
Jeju, sir.
Sir,
has he joined?
Not there.
Oh, okay.
Please call Chandini.
Yes. I shall. Yeah.
The other one. Okay.
Yes. Sri Rameshan hasn't joined due to some inconvenience. Let us move on. Now, I invite my friend and colleague, Mrs. P.M. Chandani, to felicitate the program as a representative of the staff of our college. Mrs. P.M. Chandani is a truly dedicated and an industrious person who is ever ready to lead and assist in all the academic and non-academic programs of our institution. Over to you, Mrs. P.M. Chandani.
Thank you, Vidya. I cannot on my video. Can I start, Vidya?
Jaiju, sir?
Jaiju, on
Wait,
the
wait,
video.
One second, video on.
One second.
Yeah, please enable.
Chandani teacher, you can open.
Okay, thank you, sir. Respected Principal Dr. Sujesh CP, Honorable Chief Guest Dr. Rajan Varghese, IQC Coordinator Dr. Shaji Maram Vitil, Coordinator of Guruvachan Webinar Series Sri Abdul Salam AM, and other dignitaries, colleagues, and students. A warm good evening to one and all. We have come to the end of a memorable international webinar series, Guruvachan. It's my privilege to be here to appreciate everyone who worked hard for its success. The Guruvachan webinar discussed many new topics in different subjects and opened the students a wider world of knowledge. The success and reach of this webinar will inspire and motivate us to continue and pursue excellence more and more in all that we do. There are several dream projects ahead of us. PTA look forward to be part of more events in the future. On behalf of PTA, let me congratulate our principal and all colleagues and students in this moment of great gladness. And I wish you all the best for this valedictory function. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. P.M. Chandani. We are sure that we can always count on you for any assistance. We appreciate your contribution to make this event a success. Thank you once again. Now, let me invite Ms. Agrima Rajiv, a representative of our students. As we know, students are always our strength. And to felicitate on their behalf, we have a very confident and self-disciplined person, Mrs. Agrima Rajiv. And I request you, Ms. Agrima, to felicitate this event.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to one and all present here. Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Rajan Varghese, our respected Principal, Dr. Sujesh CP, IQAC Coordinator and Head of Post-Graduation Department of Commerce, Dr. Shaji Maram Vitil, Coordinator of International Webinar Series, Mr. Abdul Salam AM, and my dear beloved participants. I take this opportunity to thank our Chief Guest, Dr. Rajan Varghese, who had taken out time from his busy schedule to grace this webinar with his presence. It's my pleasure to get an opportunity to felicitate this one-month-long international multidisciplinary webinar series as a student representative of R. Shankar Memorial SNDP Yogam College, Koilandi. This is the first conference in the history of our college. It is completely conducted on a digital platform in line with the social distancing norms due to pandemic. Once the great philosopher Sir Francis Bacon quoted, "Knowledge is power." Knowledge is power that can transform all spheres of our life and activity. Knowledge is somewhat a powerful tool or instrument that can create or destroy all life on earth. It is an ability that we use to empower and help others. Most importantly, knowledge liberates us. And we all gathered in this virtual platform with one goal, that's to acquire knowledge. And in this webinar series, intended to open up new areas of knowledge and understanding with the interaction and participation with the national and international academic scholars from the different universities and institutions. We are extremely fortunate to participate and interact in this webinar series led by the prominent personalities. And I'm pretty sure all might have utilized this golden opportunity in the best way. Each session was fully knowledgeable and interesting. It provided us with deep insight into various topics and some interesting facts too. It's an honor and great joy to us, our college, accredited by NEC with B double plus grade in the silver jubilee year of college. In the education scenario of Calicut, awesome SNDP college has made its own space. In academic, our college has produced rank holders in the past years, as well as in arts. College had won overall 4th position in Calicut University. For the past 26 years, our college has been molding eminent personalities into society. As a student representative, I wish all the resource persons, our principal, IQAC of college, and all the individuals who worked hard on turning this webinar a great success. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Agrima.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Agrima Rajiv. You have rightly quoted Francis Bacon to illustrate the power of knowledge. And I'm extremely grateful to you for commemorating the academic contributions made by our college. Thank you. Now, we shall listen to an evaluation of this entire program by Mrs. V.S. Anita, the Associate Professor of the Department of English. Mrs. V.S. Anita is also an ever-ready person to take up responsibilities and contribute effectively and efficiently to all the activities conducted by our institution. Ma'am, I invite you to present our evaluation of all the technical sessions that were held as part of our international webinar series. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Vidya, for those nice words. As you all know, today we have reached the valedictory function of Guruvachan, the multidisciplinary webinar series that has been jointly organized by the IQAC of the college and the Kerala State Higher Education Council. As most of the participants are aware, this webinar was inaugurated on 4th October by the Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University of Calicut, Dr. M.K. Jayaraj. Then we had felicitations from Sri Santosh, the Devasam Secretary of SNDP Yoga. And along with him, we also had felicitations from Dr. K.P. Vinod Kumar, the syndicate member from the University of Calicut, and also the research officer of the University of Calicut, Dr. Shafiq. It so happens that the webinar series has turned out to be a great success, since each department has got an opportunity to bring in erudite scholars to share the immense knowledge with the participants. All the technical sessions were highly informative, inspiring, as well as greatly interactive. I will here very briefly present a general overview of the technical sessions. On the second day of the webinar, that is on the 5th of October, the BBA department brought in a former student to kickstart the extravagant intellectual discourse. We had Sri Niyaz Ahmed, who talked on the topic personal excellence and self-management, which was intended to instill positive qualities in the teaching as well as the student community. Then the history department presented their webinar on 6th October. Dr. Mahmoud Kuria from the Leiden University in Netherlands, he spoke on this topic, women in the seed and gendered travel, the pre-modern Indian Ocean. The 4th day of the webinar, which happens to be on the 8th of October, that day was devoted to the computer science department. Mr. Anthony John from US spoke on cloud computing. The Malayalam department's contribution was a talk by Dr. O.K. Santosh, who belongs to the University of Madras. He spoke about the contemporary Malayalam novels and their narrative politics. Some of the popular Malayalam fictional works he mentioned were Arachar, Aadu-Jeevitham, Takshan Kun, etc., which were analyzed with special focus on the interpretation and political scenario. The Commerce Department had a resource person from the Sultanate of Oman, Mr. Rahman Kasturi, who is the Associate Professor of Business Studies in the University of Science and Technology in Salalah. He deliberated on the topic, recent trends in personal finance, savings and investments. Dr. S. Chitra, the head of the department of the Yomphula Centenary College, Royal University of Bhutan, spoke about the fairly late introduction of literature in Bhutan, and she also stressed on the culture, religion, and politics in her talk. This talk was highly inspiring and a novel experience, since most of the participants haven't heard much about Bhutan and its literature. On the 8th day, Dr. Tindula Kotakar from the Beirut University in Germany talked about green conversion of CO2 to value-added chemicals and fuels. Dr. Ramakant Roy, the assistant professor from Government Girls College in Ottawa, presented his paper on contemporary poetry and ecology on 22nd October. The 10th day of the webinar was allotted to Dr. K.V.S. Nambudiri, the head of the meteorology facility at the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at Thiruvananthapuram. His topic was World of Meteorological Phenomenon, Science and Observations. On 26th October, Dr. V. Selvan, Associate Professor of Maths, spoke about some famous problems in number theory. 28th October, the 12th day of the webinar series, was reserved for the Physical Education Department, and we had Dr. Nibu Krishna, who handled a session on stress management through yogic practices. There was a demonstration of some basic stress relieving techniques, as well as some face exercises. The last technical session was held on 30th October, where Dr. Uma Shankar Pandey, the Associate Professor and Head in the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication in Surendranath College in Calcutta, spoke about recent trends in media. With the valedictory function being held today, we have reached the last day of the multidisciplinary webinar series. It has been a greatly fulfilling academic endeavor, as a large number of participants proved. The realization of the webinar series also highlights the disciplined and timely labor put in from different quarters, like the IQAC, the KSHEC, and the teaching staff of each department. This successful initiative motivates each one of us to strive for greater academic excellence and attempt to augment our knowledge base. We all eagerly look forward to more such academic discourses. Thank you. Over to Vidya.
Thank you so much, Mrs. V.S. Aneda. That was indeed a very creative and critical appreciation, as well as an evaluation of the entire program. In a very subtle manner, you have touched upon all the sessions and given us an excellently unflowed picture of the entire event. Thank you once again. Now, the platform is open for general feedback. If anyone would like to make a comment or give an opinion on any aspect relevant to this event, you are requested to unmute and speak. You can also use the raise the hand facility to activate your unmute option. Would anyone like to make a comment or
Yeah,
give a
please
feedback?
call the 5 department representatives.
Okay.
Viniraj, Dr. Sajeev, Vinod Kumar sir, and Dr. Prajit, like that.
Okay, sir, fine. Let me first invite Dr. S.V. Sajeev from the Department of Physics.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah, yes. Respected chief guest, Dr. Rajan Varghese sir, respected principal, Dr. C.P. Sujesh, coordinator of the webinar series, Sri Abdul Salam, director of our quality assurance cell, Dr. Shaji Maramital, vice president of Parents and Teachers Association, Sri Rameshan, my dear participants, colleagues, and students. Today, we are in the valedictory function of our month-long webinar series. This series was noted by the academic community because of participation of resource persons and participants from various parts of the world and in the diverse subjects in which the sessions were conducted. The program also became a stunning example of how we could overcome the limitations imposed by the pandemic with the help of technology. Now, coming to the physics part of the webinar series. We had an enlightening section by Dr. KVS Nambudiri, Senior Scientist and Head of the Meteorology Division of Indian Space Research Organization on 27th of October. In his 1.5 hour long presentation using more than 50 slides, he dealt in detail how the principles of basic sciences like physics and maths are used in the complex process of computing and predicting the weather conditions that could prevail over a region with the stunning live examples. He even shared with us the drawing prepared for the very same day by his group at ISRO. He explained the working of various equipments that are used for making meteorological observations, starting from thermometer to artificial satellites and rockets used for the purpose. It was quite a useful session for all the participants. As per our request, Mr. Nambudiri, Dr. Nambudiri avoided usage of complex maths and physics so that anybody with a general science background could follow his presentation. A total of 115 participants were there, including some from USA. At the end of the session, Dr. Anthony Joseph, sir, head of the Department of Physics of Calicut University, also joined the deliberations, much to the delight of the participants. On behalf of the department, I use this opportunity to thank all the people for making the program a success. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. S.V. Sajeev, for your words. Now, let me invite Dr. Prajit from the Department of Chemistry to share his views on this program.
Prajit. Can I speak?
Okay, Vinod, sir,
Yeah.
you can.
Yes.
Yes. Now a guest has come to the house. I have to deal with him. Yes, the webinar series that is lasted for 1 month is coming to a close. I have no hesitation to say that it's a great success. There was active participation of students and teachers from our state and outside. As we feared, no technical issues have come up. The end of each session was marked by active discussions. The principal and the organizing committee deserve all praise. Once again, I congratulate all those who worked behind this webinar series to make it a grand success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinod Kumar, Associate Professor of the Department of English, for your words of appreciation. Now, let me request Mr. Binu Raj, Assistant Professor of the Department of Business Administration, to share his opinion on this program. Mr. Binu Raj, are you there?
All the available persons, Hridya, Sandhya Pillai, like that.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I speak then?
Yes, Hridya. Now we'll listen to the words of Hridya, Assistant Professor from the Department of Computer Science.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. As part of Guruvachan, the 4th technical session was organized by the Department of Computer Science on 8th October 2021. The resource person of this session was Mr. Anthony John from the firm Arena, United States of America, and the topic was cloud computing. Almost 170 plus were participated from in and outside of Kerala, and after analyzing participants' feedback, I could say that the webinar was a great success. So This is an occasion to celebrate and appreciate all those who made it possible. So, I hereby extend the sincere gratitude to our beloved principal, Dr. C.P. Sujesh, for giving us a chance to organize a technical session as part of Guruvachan web series. I also extend the gratitude to Dr. Shaji Maramvitil, the IQAC coordinator, and Sri Abdul Salam AM, the program coordinator of Guruvachan series, and all those who were behind the Guruvachan program. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Shraddha, for those gracious words. Now, let me request Dr. Sandhya P. Pillai, Associate Professor, the Department of Commerce, to share her views.
Thank you, Vidya. Good evening to one and all present here. First of all, on behalf of the PG Department of Commerce, I would like to congratulate the entire organizing team of this multidisciplinary international webinar series, Guruvachan, for making this event a grand success. Then regarding our webinar, that is, the PG Department of Commerce organized a webinar on the recent trends in personal finance, savings and investment on 16th October 2021. Actually, the session was handled by Dr. Ramnath Kasturi, Associate Professor, Department of Business Studies, University of Technology and Applied Science, Salalah, Sultanate of Oman. The session really discussed in detail about the recent trends in investments in different avenues like investment in financial assets, physical assets, and investment in gold and silver, etc. The resource person also explained in detail about the impact of the pandemic on investment in various avenues. He opined that the investment in physical assets are more significant, that is over 60% during this pandemic period over other investments. The session was highly informative and is extremely beneficial to the participants for planning their investment avenues. As a whole, we, the PG Department of Commerce, ensured the program very well. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Sandhya P. Pillai, for those comments and valuable words of appreciation. Now it's open for anyone to make a comment.
Ms. Vidya, with your
Yes.
permission, may I join?
Yes, we have with us Dr. Prajit N.U., Assistant Professor for the Department of Chemistry, to share his views. Please, sir.
At the outset, let me just share a kind of technical glitch I'm facing here with the network. So I was getting disconnected or intervened. By the way, anyway, I hope I can continue. Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Respected Member Secretary Dr. Rajan Varghese, Honorable Principal Dr. Sujesh CP, IKAC Coordinator Shaji Maramvital, Program Coordinator Abdul Salam Sir, and all the dignitaries present here, and all my dear participants. I'm quite happy to be a part of this whole event, Guruvachan, which lasted for 1 month, and which has been a grand success as far as the participation and the kind of response that we received from various corners. And we, the chemistry department, thank all the organizing committee for this opportunity given and the support for making this a grand success. And let me just highlight a bit on the chemistry edition of this Guruvachan. The chemistry session was handled by Dr. Tindula Kotekat on the topic green conversion of carbon dioxide to value-added chemicals and fuels. We were quite amazed by the participation and the responses that we received with the registration from various central institutes like National Chemical Laboratory, SICRI, NIT, Puducherry, Warangal, then IIT, Roorkee, ISO Mohali, Kolkata, etc. And some notable participation from foreign countries like the United States of America, UAE, Belgium, Germany, Israel, and Qatar. And we are happy to have a topic of such relevance, especially at the brink of this Glasgow climate change conference to be started from today onwards. The topic was quite relevant at this context, and the countries are trying to decrease the carbon emission. And Dr. Tintula has presented the various challenges and the efforts from the scientific community to overcome this conversion of to reduce the carbon dioxide emission or converting it into some useful products. And still, I again want to stress upon the topic that she has chosen, and I was quite overwhelmed to receive a call from my own doctoral committee member who is working in a college in Chennai. She was quite enticed by the topic, and she wanted to pursue a research in the same topic, and that was a quite happy moment for me. Then again, some inquiries regarding the research opportunities in our college was there as a part of this event. So as a whole, this has reached its destination. I would say that all the responses convey that we have attained our goals by organizing such a international multidisciplinary program. And I again want to congratulate all the crew who worked in tandem to make this a grand success. And I expect that in future we'll have more such programs, and we'll be able to reach out the whole academic community through our successful events. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prajit. Yes, as you have said, let us look forward to conducting more such programs. And it is indeed a pleasure to know that one of our participants has been instilled into taking our topic of discussion for research. It's our pride, actually. From all these feedbacks, we understand that our effort has borne fruit, thus making this event a grand success. Would anyone else like to say something or share your opinion on any of the topics discussed under this program? If there is no one else, let me continue. As we have listened to the words of various teachers and other participants, it has been truly mentioned by many speakers that this is indeed a moment of celebration. Thank you, everyone, for your valuable comments and words of appreciation. Now, it's time to express gratitude, and let me take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Shaji Maram Vittal, the IQAC coordinator and the associate professor and head of the Department of Commerce, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Shaji Maram Vittal, yes, over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Vidya. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Respected and most distinguished Chief Guest of the Day, Dr. Rajan Varghese, Member Secretary, Kerala State Higher Education Council, and former Pro-Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi University. Respected Principal, Dr. C.P. Sujesh, Coordinator of the webinar series, Sri A.M. Abdul Salam, Heads of the Departments, PTA Vice President, Sri K. Rameshan, Mrs. Anita, Mrs. Chandni, Ms. Agrima, faculty members, and dear participants. Good evening to one and all. The 14-day multidisciplinary International Webinar Series Guruvachan, jointly organized by the IPSC and Kerala State Higher Education Council, comes to an end today with this validity session. 12 technical sessions covering different disciplines such as chemistry, physics, computer science, mathematics, English, literature, Malayali literature, Hindi literature, physical education, history, journalism, commerce, and management studies enriched this webinar series in terms of its contents, relevance of the topics, and a wonderful presentation. All the technical sessions were highly informative, and I am sure that the participants are immensely benefited by attending this webinar series. Let me now move on to discharge of my duty, that is to propose vote of thanks to the distinguished personalities who are here and to those who made this webinar series a grand success. First of all, I would like to express our gratitude to our chief guest of the day, Dr. Rajan Varghese, for gracing the validity session of this international webinar series. Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking and enlightening address. Your speech is actually an inspiration for us to conduct seminars and webinar series like this in the future. I take this opportunity to express our gratitude to the Kerala State Higher Education Council for partnering with us to conduct this webinar series. We are extremely grateful to Dr. M.K. Jairaj, Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Calicut, who took his precious time to grace our webinar series by inaugurating it on 4th October 2021. Next, I thank our principal, Dr. C.P. Sujesh, who is the brain behind this webinar series. Thank you, sir, for your constant encouragement and leadership in the successful completion of this webinar series. We are really indebted to Sri A.M. Abdul Salam, the coordinator of the webinar series, for making this webinar a great success. Thank you, sir, for your successful coordination that made this webinar a memorable event. We are profoundly thankful to Sri Vellapalli Nadeshan, the manager of our college, and Sri Santosh Ariyakandi, Devasam Secretary of SNDP Yogam and Management Representative, for their continued support and guidance in conducting webinar series like this. I extend a big thank to the resource persons of the different sessions, Dr. Mahmoud Puria, Mr. Niaz Ahmed Mahmoud, Mr. Anthony John, Dr. OK Sandosh, Dr. Ramnath Kasturi, Dr. S. Chitra, Dr. Ramakant Roy, Dr. KVS Nambudiri, Dr. Shelvan, Dr. Nibu R. Krishna, and Dr. Umashankar Pandey for their wonderful presentation, which made this webinar series a fabulous one. Internal Quality Assurance Cell of our college is hugely indebted to the heads of the departments for making this webinar series a great success. On behalf of the IQAC, I extend a hearty thanks to Dr. Vidhi Prasant, Dr. Deepa KP, Dr. Sajeev SV, Sri Biniraj CR, Mrs. Anita G, Dr. Marlene Abraham, Mrs. Hridya G, Dr. Minnie Abraham, Mrs. Varsha, and Mrs. Shruti. I also extend thanks to all the faculty members of the different departments of our college for their efforts and cooperation in conducting this webinar series. Next, I thank Mrs. Vidya Vishwanathan, Assistant Professor of English, for her efforts in anchoring the different sessions of this webinar series. With her style and own ideas of explanation of everything, I mention my deepest sense of appreciation and would place on record my hearty thanks to Ms. Vidya, because of whom we made this webinar very lively and flamboyant. I specifically thank the technical arrangement team, whose continuous and selfless effort in providing technical support led to the smooth conduct of this webinar series. So I extend special thanks to Mr. Jaichu Babu, Assistant Professor of Business Administration, Dr. Pralit Ennu, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Mrs. Chandini PM, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, and Mr. N.T. Ravindran, Technical Staff. We are highly indebted to the PTA of our college for its support and assistance in conducting various programs in the college. And I thank PTA Vice President Mr. Ramesh K for cooperating with us in the smooth conduct of various programs in the college. I also thank Mrs. Anita V.S. for her accurate evaluation of different sessions of this webinar series during this valedictory session. And also, I also thank Mrs. Chandini PM for her felicitation, and also thanks Ms. Agrima, the student representative, for felicitating this occasion. That is, I also acknowledge the presence of this Dr. K.P. Vinod Kumar and Dr. Shafiq, and for gracing our webinar series by felicitating the inaugural session of this webinar series. Finally, I extend a big thanks to the students and other participants of this webinar for their continued participation and patient listening in different sessions of this webinar series. Once again, on behalf of the IKC of our college, I extend a hearty thanks to all who are the part and parcel of this webinar series. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shaji Maram Vital, for your heart-touching words of gratitude. We are thankful to you too for initiating and making this program a grand success. As the coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, you have taken all the measures to conduct this program in the most befitting manner. Thank you for your support, guidance, and motivation. Dear participants, let me now invite our principal, Dr. C.P. Sujesh, to end this program.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, dears. This is a very happy moment for me that everybody has noted this webinar a grand success. And from the very inception of the idea of this webinar, we were not in a position to say how we could achieve this webinar. So now, with the endeavor on the part of each and every person, then we have achieved this webinar or completed this webinar with a wonderful experience. And I don't like to thank each and every personnel behind it. All helping hands are there. And the college itself is held responsible to each and every person for the successful conducting of this webinar series. And even though our today's guest, Rajan Varghese, has spent only for 10 or 12 minutes for us, he has opened up some new thoughts to us, which are to be considered as a major concern by us in the days to come. The most thing he has put forward is the quality. Quality. What is the first thing required, second thing required, and third thing required? That is nothing but the quality. So quality assurance, that is to be considered as the serious concern of every higher educational institution. So without assuring quality, there will be no question of the survival of the higher educational institutions in the long run. If it is compromised with quality, definitely that institution will be automatically expelled from the educational sector. So we need to improve our quality by assuming these kinds of programs in the days to come. Then another thing he has noted or put forward, that is what is called the ranking system and accreditation process. So as we have undergone a drastic, different programs for National Assessment and Accreditation Council process. Like that, we have to go with the state accreditation process also. Bishop Moore College, the one and only college, which is completed their state accreditation process. Like that, we people also have to go with that accreditation process. And as a head of the institution, I would like to say before you that we have to definitely go with that higher education, that accreditation process. So most probably the course allocation and everything on the part of the state government, that will be purely based on that accreditation process, as the minister commented. Then another thing that is or a wonderful thing that is noted our college name by way of our joining as a member of the cluster of colleges, Code cluster of colleges. That was actually, I think, 10 years back, even though he noted it as a serious thing. So whenever I think get an opportunity to explore these kinds of things, definitely we'll have to utilize the same. Then only we can cope up with the standards which have been formulated by the government, then other missionaries or agencies, etc. So definitely we all of us have to cope up with that standard, and you have to strive to achieve this standard. So everything then will be fine. So thank you all. And once again, I'm giving all my support, and also thank all of the participants and all the helping hands and all the teachers, non-teaching staff, then students, participants, and all others for making this webinar series a grand success. Thank you all. And with all of your permission, I declare this webinar series as closed.